I am trying to get every Resident Evil Platinum by the end of this year. Today I am going to get the Platinum for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. The Platinum is a 5 out of 10, taking 25 hours and 3 playthroughs. There are a total of 38 trophies, including the Platinum. 8 of them are story-related, 3 of them are difficulty-related for completing the game in easy, normal, and madhouse difficulty, 14 of them are miscellaneous, 6 are collectible-related, and 3 are missable. There's a trophy for opening the item box less than 3 times, and 1 for healing less than 3 times. There is also a trophy for finishing the story in less than 4 hours. I have never played this game before, so my first playthrough will just be me playing through the game on easy while enjoying the story, getting some miscellaneous trophies, and all of the collectibles. Then I'll do the speedrun trophy without healing or using the item box more than 3 times, and hopefully by this point I have most of the miscellaneous trophies. Finally, I'll complete my final playthrough playing on madhouse difficulty while also getting all the antique coins. First trophy I got happened basically a minute into the game for traveling to Louisiana. Without any big spoilers, we play as this guy named Ethan whose wife has been missing for 3 years and presumed dead. But she sent us a videotape saying to not go look for her. Obviously, we go looking for her. I went in blind into this game knowing nothing about it, and it did not disappoint me. The story was pretty good and the gameplay was good as well, but what made this game for me was the ambience. The house was terrifying. Seeing the grandma around was honestly the scariest part for me because I had no idea if there was a jump scare coming, and god, when we see her empty chair later in the game, I almost died. This game does a good job of creating that thrill and anticipation of not knowing what will happen next. I was truly scared from start to finish on my first playthrough. I am pretty new to survival horror games, so pretty much any jump scare is enough to give me a heart attack. Soon after traveling to Louisiana, I also got a trophy for examining an item, which happened to be Mia's driver's license. Then I had to do the first videotape out of 5, and here I got my first lockpick and used it soon after. You have to use this lockpick here in order to go get the first antique coin, which is part of one of the collectible types. Antique coins are actually used throughout the game. You can put them inside of these cages that have weapons and items inside of them. The start of this game was really good. This is the point where the game is the scariest because you don't really know the characters or the map at all. After a little bit of playing, I got the trophy for escaping the guest house, which is another one of those story-related trophies. I also got a trophy for blocking an enemy attack while guarding, which basically works as a shield where you take less damage and sometimes no damage at all. I also got my first Mr. Everywhere statue out of the 20 we need to collect on this playthrough. These are just one of the types of collectibles that we need to get throughout this entire playthrough. The other types are the antique coins, files, and those videotapes. Right after that, I actually got one of the trophies related to the videotapes. There are 5 in total. You have to play all 5 of them, and 2 of them have trophies tied to doing something inside of the tape, since you actually do get to play through the tapes. For this Mia one, you just had to finish a tape without being spotted by Marguerite. Shortly after, I got the trophy for using psychostimulants, which basically tell you where all the things you can interact with are, anything from items to files. Then I got a trophy for closing an open door by myself. I think this is a thing because usually doors closed automatically behind you in a spooky sort of way. After that, I got another story-related trophy for escaping to the yard. This trophy is basically for leaving the main house and moving on to the next 2 sections of the game. We do have to go back to the main house later to get some keycards, but for now we're headed to the old house where Marguerite is waiting for us. But before that, I grabbed one of these backpacks that increase your item slots, getting another trophy for it. Shortly after, I killed 2 enemies with 1 shot. And I also finished an enemy off with the knife, getting 2 of the missable miscellaneous trophies. My next trophy was another story-related trophy for uncovering the secrets of the old house. While the main house was also kind of scary, this part was definitely the scariest part of the game. I also thought it was the most boring part because I did not enjoy fighting against Marguerite, and I never liked those hiding/running away mechanics that Resident Evil likes to add quite a bit of in their games. I also didn't like how the bugs worked. They just bothered me most of the time without adding any scary elements to the game. But again, I thought this part was definitely the scariest part, especially when we need to go get part of the serum and we go to Evelyn's old room and she's there as a kid. I don't know why, but I always think kids are way scarier than any other adult, so that part was definitely the scariest in the game for me. After that, I got another trophy for escaping from the Baker family home. This happened right after we had our last fight with Jack, and now we are with Mia and Zoe. Now, up to this point, the story and the game was a solid 9 out of 10, but it got a little weird after this. The one thing that bothered me the most about this next part was the choice where we had to pick either Mia or Zoe. This seemed dumb since it barely changed the story at all, and we have to play as Mia on the ship either way. How did she even get there if we took Zoe? I don't know. But I found that entire choice odd since there is also a canon choice, so what even was the point of getting us to choose? Other than that, the story was decently coherent. There were some things I did question, but nothing that actually bothered me too much except for this part. Once we take control of Mia, we watch the last videotape, giving me the trophy for watching all of them. Here, I also created all the items containing chem fluid and strong chem fluid. This has to be done in a single playthrough, so you have to be mindful when using your chem fluids, so that you have enough for all 8 different kinds. But again, super simple trophy. Then I got the trophy for attaching a bomb to an enemy and killing it with it. Now that the game was almost over, I finished getting my first collectible set, the antique coins. After that, I escaped the ship, which is another one of those story-related trophies, and finished another set of collectibles, getting all the files. And right after that, I finished getting all the Mr. Everywheres. With that, my first playthrough was over, and I earned the trophies for completing the game on easy and for getting the first ending, aka choosing Mia in the only choice the game gives you. Before my speedrun, I decided to clean up one of the miscellaneous trophies that I didn't want to do in any of my remaining playthroughs. I completed the last videotape related trophy, which is finishing the happy birthday sequence in less than 5 minutes. 5 minutes seems like a long time, but it took me a few tries to get it done. This is also not something you need to watch, so I didn't want to waste time or worry about it on my speedrun or the Madhouse one. With that out of the way, it was time to start the second playthrough. I thought I was gonna finish the game in normal, but I died like maybe 40 times the first time I tried since I was combining this with the no heal run. It was taking too much time and I genuinely thought I was never gonna finish it. 40 minutes into the run, I had to stop and start over, now on easy mode. After the switch, I was able to finish the speedrun with no issues. In this run, I also got 2 miscellaneous trophies. I dodged under Jack's scissors attack, and I cleared insects off a door with the knife. Once I was done with this run, I got 4 trophies. One for picking Zoe instead of Mia in the one choice the game gives you, granting me the trophy for getting the second ending. I finished the game healing less than 3 times, using the item box less than 3 times, which basically means not using it at all since the story makes you use it 3 times. And finally, finishing the game in under 4 hours. With this done, I had 5 trophies left, including the platinum, finishing the game in normal and in Madhouse, collecting all of the coins in Madhouse mode, and 1 miscellaneous trophy for shooting and knocking back Marguerite while she is sleeping at you. Now we can start our final playthrough in Madhouse difficulty. I decided to complete this without using the chainsaw. Not only did I for some reason not unlock it after my speedrun and was super lazy to go get it back, but also I know it makes the game way too easy and I wanted at least a little bit of a challenge. For this part, the plan was to get both the trophy for completing the game in Madhouse and for getting all the antique coins, as well as by default, the one for completing the game in normal. The game itself did not feel that much harder. I watched a bunch of guides from people talking about the boss fights, game mechanics that were important, and how to get through specific segments. In this difficulty, there isn't that many autosaves, maybe 3. But there are so many cassettes, which is what you use to manually save, that it doesn't really make a difference. You can pretty much save anytime you want. This was a lot easier than I thought it would be. None of the fights caused me trouble. I only had issues with the mines at the end since I didn't have a lot of shotgun ammo, but I still only died a few times here. Overall, I only had to retry less than 10 times and it didn't feel like any segment was hard per se, even though I wasn't even using any of the unlockable weapons. The only one I took out of the box was the Alvert because I like the sound it makes when you shoot, but I think even the pistol is better than this gun because my aim is not the best and it only fits 3 bullets in a mag. I was getting through the game with ease until I picked up the last antique coin, and the trophy did not pop. I checked the amount I had, and sure enough, I was missing one. I can't say for certain which one I missed, but I was so mad because I was confident I had grabbed them all. My guess is that I died one time and simply forgot to re-grab one of the coins, but this was going to cost me a whole new playthrough in Madhouse. It's fine though, I unlocked infinite ammo since I finished the game in Madhouse, so I can just power my way through the game. The one thing that I hated about this wasn't only that I had to replay the game, I do love this game a lot, but following a guide to get all the collectibles is always a huge hassle. And the fact that you have to pick every single coin in one playthrough makes it even more tedious. At least I won't have to play through the mines again because you get all of your coins before that segment, and I died a bunch of times here, but I do have to play through the ship section all over again, which is basically the worst section in the game. I finished the game in under 5 hours, and now it was time to do it again one last time. Thankfully, I had a save right before Marguerite's fight, so this did not take too long, maybe an hour and a half, since I had infinite ammo. Now, with all the coins out of the way, all that was missing was the last miscellaneous trophy for shooting Marguerite while she is mid-air. I watched a quick video on how to do this and got it done in less than 5 minutes, since, again, I made sure I had a save file right before it. With this trophy, I got the platinum. I really enjoyed this game, and the platinum was not too bad for a Resident Evil game with only 3 playthroughs needed. Next time I'll be getting Resident Evil's Village platinum to continue Ethan's story.